Hello everyone. Welcome to another of my tutorial in this COVID-19 pandemic season. Students, I hope you're being kind to your parents at home. And parents, on the behalf of all teachers, a very big thumbs up, a very big thank you for all the awesome work that you have been doing at home. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. Now today, I'm going to be giving you some tips as to how you can help your children at home to remember or to memorize their times tables. Now, knowing your times tables is the foundation or the backbone on which your understanding or your learning of mathematics stands. So knowing your times table is very, very, very important. Before I go throughout this lesson, throughout this tutorial, giving you some advice as to how you can help your children to learn their times tables, I want you to take with you the word praise. So the word praise is what I want you to focus on. Praise, praise, praise. Praise is not too much for your children. For you to encourage them to learn, you need to say, well done, great job, high five, you did it, yeah, well done, yeah. All of those, you need to praise them. Praise, praise, praise. Praise is not too much. Sometimes, even if you find it hard to find something to praise for, search, find something, make sure you praise your students or praise your children. I recommend that you praise them 10 times as much as you reprimand them. Just praise, praise, praise. Praise is not too much. For you to teach your children to do something, praise, 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 praise. And along with that praise, please exercise some patience. But praise, praise, praise. Can't be too much. Now I'm going to be recommending 2 ways in which you can use to teach your children their times tables. Then I'm going to tell you the process I use that worked for me with my child, and also give you an example of a game that you could play at home, especially in this season, to help to practice times tables. First, I'm going to give you something that I do not recommend. I do not recommend the sequence method. The sequence method is where the child says 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. Or the child says 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, and so on. Why don't I recommend that way? I do not recommend that way due to the fact that if I should ask a child, for example, what is 2 times 4, the child will resort to the finger saying 2, 4, 6, 8. 2 times 4 is 8. Or if I say 2 times 7, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. 2 times 7 is 14. So it's more than likely that the child is going to be using his or her finger. What if I ask 2 times 12? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. So that takes time. That takes time. So I do not recommend that way. Now, I'm going to tell you 2 ways in which I recommend. One is where we use all 3 numbers, 2 1s 2, 2 2s 4, 2 3s 6, 2 4s 8, 2 5s 10, 2 6s 12. In that way, the child is connecting all 3 numbers together. So if I say 2 4s or 2 times 4, the child knows that 2 4s 8 straight away without having to think about using your fingers. 2 8s or 2 times 8, the child knows 2 8s is 16 without having to think. So they connect all 3 numbers together. So the child would say, if they're learning it, they would say, for example, with the 4 times table, 4 1s 4, 4 2s 8, 4 3s 12, 4 4s 16, 4 5s 20, and so on. So that's one method. That's a general method I would recommend. The other method I'd recommend is for children who are more advanced. So you would say 2 1s 2, 2 into 2 goes 1 times, 2 2s 4, 2 into 4 goes 2 times, 2 3s 6, 2 into 6 goes 3 times, 2 4s 8, 2 into 8 goes 4 times. In that way, the child is learning their division and their multiplication together. So those are the 2 methods that I would use. Now, You can use rhythm to help you to do that. So you could do maybe 2 ones 2, 2 into 2 goes 1 time, 2 twos 4, 2 into 4 goes 2 times, 2 3 6, or if just the general method, 2 ones 2, 2 twos 4, 2 3 6, 2 fives 10, and so on. 2 fours 8, and so on. Now, you can easily put some fun to it. You can ask the child to make a rhythm to it. They could do a DJ to it. They could do a rapping to it. So you make this thing as fun as possible, as fun as you can. Okay, so those are the 2 methods that I recommend. How did I get my child to learn it? When we were starting out at first with, for example, the 2 times table, we would say the last thing before we go to our bed at night. So when tucking her into bed, we do it as fun. So I would say 2 ones 2, she would say 2 twos 4. I would say 2 3 6, she would say 2 fours 8. And then we start again, maybe she will start, and then I will do the next one, and so on. If a mistake is made, we try and make as much fun out of it. I would say, oh, I got that one, I won that one, and then we start again. Or I would purposefully make a mistake so that I could lose the game, so that she could win the game. So you make it as fun as possible. So that's one way we used to do it at night before she goes to her bed. Let's say we did the 2 times table in the first week. The second week, we might do the 3 times table. And after learning the 3 times table, we might go back to connecting the 2 times table with the 3 times table. Your child might be more advanced and may be able to do more than 1 for the week. But you try and make it, the aim is to try and make it as much fun and less stress. Just fun, 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 praise, praise, praise. Make it like a game. Make it as fun as possible. So here I've given you 2 ways, and I've told you what works for me. Now, when all of this is over, we're back out. When you're driving your children to school, you can have fun in the car. Ask them who can come up with the best rhythm for it, who is the best rapper at doing it, and so on. And they can do that, and that you can do it as fun as possible. So I've recommended 2 ways, and I've told you 1 way in which I do it, and you try to make it as fun as possible. Now I'm going to be showing you a game, now that you're at home, that you can use, or you can use for the children to remember their times tables. So let's say we're practicing our 2 times table. I'm going to do a 3 by 6 column. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we're going to be doing our 2 times table. So I'm going to be putting the number 2 up here. Now, this part you can make up as much as. I'm going to use the number D, the letter D, to mean double. I'm going to be using the letter S to mean skip. And I'm going to be doing the letter F to mean free. So I'm going to put F, doesn't matter where you put it, S, and then I'm going to put D. Now I'm going to fill the rest of the space with numbers 1 to 12, doesn't matter where. I'm also going to have a score sheet. So here, we're going to have a score sheet. There, you need 2 counters. So first player, throw the counter on. Whatever number the counter drops on, so let's say it drops on 5 and it drops on 6. So the child needs to find out what 2 times 5 is and 2 times 6 is. So 2 times 5 is 10, 2 times 6 is 12. You're going to have 10 and 12 together. You get 22. Your score is 22. What if it drops on a D and it drops on 3? So 2 times 3 is 6. And then it drops on D, so that 6 means that you're going to double it. So instead of having 6, you're going to be having 12. What if it drops on F? If it drops on F, that means it got a free turn. You can go again and play again. What if it drops on S? If it drops on S, it means that you can skip a turn. You have to skip a turn, so the next person will be playing. Or if it's a whole family, you have to skip a whole round and come back the next time. Okay, so that's what you could do. You could even change this up and add different letters to it. You could add the letter E, which means erase. So if your number drops on, your counter drops on a 3 and on an E, then 2 times 3 is 6. You write your 6, but you have the option of erasing the last score of somebody else on the team. So if somebody was winning, you have the option of erasing the last score that that person has. So you can make this as fun as possible. What if you were doing more than one times table? If you are doing more than one times table, let's say the 2 times table and the 3 times table, you could do the same thing. So this time, let's have 4 columns. 2, 3, 2, 3. Again, you can put your letters in whatever you decide. You can make it up. You can make it as fun as possible, right? You could make that triple instead of making it double. So I'm going to write double, I'm going to write E, and I'm going to write S. Now I'm going to fill this 1, 2, 3, 4. This time you can repeat numbers. You don't have to do 1 to 12. You can repeat the numbers. I could put another 4 here. I can put 6, 5, 12, 11, 4, 9, 8, 7, 1, or make that 7, 6, 8. You could put any numbers that you want there. And you do the same thing and you play that game the same way. You could use the numbers 1 to 12. You can do as many times table as you want, and you can make it as fun as you want. Your score sheet at the end of the game, whosoever has the most there would win. Or you could say after each round, you could have a box of chocolate. After each round, whosoever gets the most in that round will get a chocolate. So you see who gets a chocolate, who gets the most chocolate at the end of the whole game. Or you have the choice of, if you win something, to take somebody else's chocolate. So you can make this as fun as possible. So one, going back to what I'm talking about, I'm saying we're giving you tips in how to help your child at home with their times table. 1, praise, praise, praise. 2, fun, fun, fun. Praise, 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 fun, fun, fun. One method is where you have just the multiplication with just the 3 numbers, where you have 2 1s 2, 2 2s 4, 2 3 6, 2 4s 8, and make that as fun as possible. Put as much rhythm to it as possible. Or if the child is more advanced, you can say 2 1s 2, 2 into 2 goes 1 time, 2 2s 4, 2 into 4 goes 2 times, and so on. So make it as fun as possible. As I said to you, the way I did it when my child was learning, we used to do it the last thing before we go to bed, but make it as fun as possible. And now the third thing, now that you're at home, I've given an example of a game that you could use. You can make the game as exciting as you want. You can use chocolates as a reward. You can do anything there that you want to make this fun. Hopefully, this will help you as a family in learning to do your times tables. Thank you.